Today we are learning how to make line graphs. Please copy down the standard benchmark indicator on a clean page in your math notebook. The student will collect, organize, and display a set of numerical data in a variety of forms using line graphs to draw conclusions and make predictions. You can pause the video here to give yourself more time to copy down the SBI. Line graphs. How to make a line graph. Step 1. Put the data into a table so that each set of data has two values. If you look at step 1 labeled to the right here, you can see they're looking at months past and telling how much weight was able to be lifted in pounds. So we have it in a nice chart there. Step 2 is to choose what to plot on the horizontal axis and what to plot on the vertical axis. Choose the starting point and ending point for each axis. The starting and ending points must include the smallest and largest data values. Choose an interval for each axis, then label and number each axis. So if we look at our graph to the right here, they've chosen to put the weights lifted going up the left side there. They've done the months past going across the right on the bottom. You can see for the weight, they went up by 20 for every interval because they needed to get up to at least 140. And for months past, they went 1 through 6 because that will cover 1 through 5 in our data points. Then they graphed the data by using the coordinates for each set of data as a point. So for 1, they went over to the first month and put the dot at 70 pounds. It's halfway between the 60 and the 80. For this month 2, it was up at 100. Month 3 was also at 100. Month 4 was at 120. And month 5 was at 140. Then they used a ruler to draw lines to connect the dots. When you're doing a line graph, you need to use a ruler to make sure your line stays straight from point to point. Step 4 is to title your graph. You can see up here they've titled it Dave's Weightlifting. For the try it, we're going to make a line graph of the data shown to the right. Since the data for the x-axis are from 1 to 5, our scale can go from 0 to at least 5. If we have space, we can go a little bit further. Since the data for the y-axis, that's going to be our up and down axis, are from 20 to 45, the scale can go from 0 to 50. As we work on our graph here, we're going to put the weeks across the bottom. So we're going to number that starting at 0 at the very bottom point all the way over to the end of the graph that we have space here. Then we need to tell what the numbers across the bottom are. So we're going to write weeks underneath the numbers. Next, we need to do the y-axis, which is the up and down axis. Since our data goes all the way up to 45, we can count by tens here. Then we need to label the y-axis, and in this case, it's number of donors. Now we need to plot our data. For week 1, we had 20 donors. So we're going to find the 1 and go up to the 20 and put a dot on that intersection. Week 2 also had 20 donors. Week 3 will go up to 30. Week 4 goes up to 35. And week 5 goes up to 45. Now we're going to connect the dots using a ruler so we get a straight line between each point. After connecting each of your dots with a ruler so we have a nice straight line between each point, we need to give our graph a title. In this case, we're going to use the title from our chart, which is blood drive. Please make sure you have all of the data on the graph, all the pieces of it filled in, and then you may glue this paper in your math notebook to use as a reference.